Hey everybody, I'm back with another little video. Um, this time I'm gonna speak. Well, I'm gonna speak in English, but I primarily speak in English. But sometimes I blend, and I probably will do a little bit of that here. But yeah, we'll see where it goes and how it goes. I'm sitting here with my cup of tea and my snooze and my phone just in case I need to translate something. Um, and this book that Swedish people get in the mail. I want to say it's once a year. I'm not sure if it's the same time every year, but it is definitely once a year. And I was going to go over this book in English because I figure if there's people like me that are immigrants to Sweden that maybe don't understand everything in the book, I'm going to do my best to translate it. And I thought we could go through it together because I think it's like a really interesting book. This is like we don't get anything like this in America. I'd never seen anything like this, and I was so like almost in shock the first time. I was like, "What do you mean? Why are they sending out this book? I don't understand. Is something going to happen?" But apparently, they've been doing this for a very, very long time, very many years, and I've never done a video on it. So I thought that maybe I can do a video on it now. Yeah, we can talk about it because I wanted to. I just haven't gotten around to it. It is this is a book. It's yellow, so it's hard to see. My yellow light. See. Back from. Anyways, it's sorry, my heart, my eyeball. Anyways, it's if a crisis or a war comes, well, basically what you're gonna do if a crisis or a war comes, and there's like the military there. Sorry, the military there, and this basically it's a book, and they go over information. It says it's important information to Swedish immigrants. So it's for us guys. So I just thought I'd go over the book, and I thought we could talk about it, and I could explain some of the things if maybe you don't read Swedish very well, or you don't understand it, or you maybe have questions or something like that. Hopefully, I can answer some of those things for you. It's really hot. I'm drinking pumpkin spice tea that I brought back from America with me from the brand Yogi. It's not sponsored, but it's pretty good. I drink a lot of chai tea. Um, It's my favorite. I usually add extra spices in, like maybe extra ginger or turmeric or cinnamon or something like that. A little bit of milk, a little bit of honey, and it makes like a chai latte. So this is pretty much what I did here, but this is pumpkin spice tea. Similar flavors, I feel like. But yeah, I had already one chai tea today, so I figured I'd do a pumpkin spice. Because I don't think this one has any caffeine in it, and it's kind of late, and I have to work tomorrow, so I don't want to be up too late tonight. I'm already up late all the time anyways, so I don't want to add to it. Anyways, let's jump back into the book. So when you first open the book, it looks like this. And it says two Swedish immigrants till Sveriges invandrare, two Swedish immigrants. And it basically says here, I'm just going to summarize it, that we live in a worrisome time, that a war is happening around the world. There's terrorism, there's cyber attacks, and there's so this is basically it's just information in here to help us know what to do in those types of situations. It's important information for you to know. Like for me, I work in Vård, which is I'm a nurse, so I work in healthcare, and we are required, from what I understand, by law to report to duty if there's a krieg because of the job that I'm in. So if there's like a war and everybody else is fleeing, I'm supposed to go to work. Supposedly. We'll see. I might just use my other passport. I don't know. But yeah. So it's basically information on this book is what you're supposed to do. So the next page it has the inholder, which is like the index here, and then it goes through the list of different chapters, and then it says it's just basically going over the information. If there's a krieg or a threat against your freedom, and what you need to do, and how do you what are the right things to do in order to live your self-sufficient life. So I'm reading this in Swedish, and then I'm translating it. So if it takes me a minute to think, that's what's happening here. So bear with me. And then it also talks about other threats as well, extreme weather, dangerous viruses or dangerous things that are contagious, um, power losses due to something happening with the IT, maybe a cyber attack, and then organized like terrorist attack or something like that, how to handle that. So the next page looks like this. And it says, together we'll make Sweden stronger. Um, I cannot translate this like word for word because in Swedish the grammar is different. So I'm translating it the best that I can to make it make sense to you. Because if I was to translate it word for word, it wouldn't make any sense to you. So I read it in my head, then I translate it back. I'm sorry, I'm getting over like the flu or a cold or something, so I'm still like pain in my sinuses and coughing and whatever. But that's why my voice isn't so well right now. In a crisis or a krieg, you need to be able to stand with Sweden against all of this. And it's and basically you can find this information through your county or city, and which things that are safe in case of threat. And here they talk about, here is some examples that you can do together. Yeah, you can go free willing to a safe organization that has information on what you're to do. Let's see. It's a trustful organization. You have to trust the organization, and it will give you important information and important numbers or places or things that you can do. There's also, it's really good to take a CPR class, so therefore it can be really useful in case of something happens, so that you can like jump in and take care and maybe save somebody's life. It's also really good for you to give blood. That's like really popular in Sweden. I see people, like my colleagues, do that all the time. They're always giving blood. I unfortunately cannot due to my disease, but so for everybody that can. My disease is genetic. It's not contagious. I was born with it, and I got it from my mom. You can talk to other people, get a strong group of people, and you guys kind of all do the same thing, and you're like, you make a plan of like, this is what we're going to do in order, if something happens, we're going to, come here and do that plan that we have made up. You can also talk to your your apartment complex and just see if anybody else has a similar plan than you, so you guys can all kind of like work together. And then it says Sweden's answer here. Sweden is Sweden's example for the military is it's just basically, it's something really interesting here. And now that it also talks about being collective for NATO. That's new. Okay. Basically here in Sweden, here it is. Wait, where is that? Anyways, it talks about like, which I thought was like really interesting. If you hear anywhere that Sweden has surrendered, it's a complete lie, because Sweden never and never will surrender. If it's going, they're going. So if you ever hear Sweden has surrendered, it's a lie. Don't listen to it, because Sweden will not do that. They say in this book. So it's like, don't listen to like propaganda or like maybe lies are what people are telling you because it's not true. Unless it comes from, like, I don't know, anybody. But they said they will not say that, so I put the string in my mouth. And the military, they are, they are allied with NATO, and they will protect us against conflicts conflicts that happen, and we're going to stand for the military. The civil, us, other people, everybody that lives in Sweden, it's good to have or know of an organization with important information that can help you support your military. And the number one information is to protect the people around you, yourself, and the land and the landscape, and hope that everything functions so it's going to in a time of Krieg. For example, helping with electricity or sick or people that need to be transported. And then it talks about Sweden and NATO, and that is basically, if you know what NATO is, it's like, to help us if anybody tries to start a war here, then it's like one for, what is it? What is it saying? It's like all for one, one for all, or something like that. Kind of like, not exactly like that, but like if they attack a NATO, then NATO attacks. You can't attack one because then all come. And then here is the next page. I can show you, finally, about you. And then there's a big yellow box there, scary yellow box. Here it talks about, on this page, it talks about more like military stuff. It basically meaning like the whole society can work together to fulfill important things in the society so that it functions well, and that we need to basically help each other, and there can be help in different ways. The help of radio, TV, and text, it's the highest type of help and information. Also we have is there's an alarm. So at the first Monday of every month, there's like an air raid, and you can hear that no matter where you are. It's at 3 o'clock on Monday every month. The first time I heard it, I was paranoid and panicking because I really thought that, I was like, what the hell did I do? But apparently they've been playing that for years and years and years, and they still do. It's a test system. And you hear it. Let me tell you, you hear it. Whether you're in the town or you're out on the land, you hear the alarm system. And that's what it's there for, so that you hear it in case we're being attacked at a Krieg or something like that. So it's really good. So listen for that. Also, let's see. And it talks about here too, from the age of 16 to the age of 70, you can be called upon war. Let's see here. It goes for all Swedish citizens, those that live in Sweden currently, and those that live abroad that are Swedish citizens. I know, I think it was like the year before my husband graduated, or maybe a year or two before, I'm not sure. Like his father did it. After you graduated high school, you had to spend, I want to say it's 1 year in the military after high school. And basically it's just like training and things like that. There was no active war, so it was just, learning, and you're there for that 1 year. And I think every you either sign up or you did it. I think it was mandatory, but they don't do that anymore. It's not mandatory. Let's see. I'm kind of hopping over things too. I'm not reading it like direct word for word. I'm like looking at what I feel like could be interesting. And then the big yellow box here. It's basically saying that if you work, like I said, something like I said, if you work in a special, if you have a special job that you were to um, report to your job, you won't be set in the creek. You'll be reporting to the job that you do. So here's this. It's the next page, and this talks about the warning systems. So they have the outside warning system, which is Hesa Fredrik, and that is a community thing, and around Kärnkraftverk. Jag vet inte vad det menar. We can Google that. And then there's also outside tests for, like I said, the first Monday at 3 o'clock. Heli-free. Oh, the first heli-free or weekend-free Monday in March, June, September, and December at 3 o'clock. Okay, so they have changed it. So that's good. We're reading this. And then there's a important allmänheter. It's like for everybody, male, and it's the 7 seconds, and then what you hear when you're hearing the air raid. So you'll hear it for 7 seconds, and then it'll be a pause for 14 seconds. So, I mean, yeah, so it'll be 7 seconds and then pause for 14 seconds, and then 7 seconds and then pause for 14 seconds, and then 7 seconds and then pause for 14 seconds, and it's done after 2 minutes. You can also listen to radio P4, P4 for more information, because it says here that that radio station will continue to broadcast up until the end, up until they're not there anymore. So P4 is the station that you want to listen to. And then, of course, there's Swedish radio, SVT Text, which is Swedish television. It's the programs here. There's also the radio television channel. And there is an app for Krisinformation, SOS Larm. Kris is crisis information, SOS Larm, Swedish radio, SVT. And then you also can get text messages on your phone, on your telephone. And then they also, when it does that for everybody, it does an also signal for 30. It's called the beredskapslarm. It's 30 seconds and then a 15-second pause, and then 30 seconds again, and then it stops after 15 minutes. And that's something that you would hear on the radio. So that was on the radio too, the 714, 714, 714, and then they also have the 3015, 3015. And then the flyg alarm, which is, it's a court signal. It's 1 minute long. And if you hear that, okay. So the 714, 714 is for everybody. And then the 30, 15, 30 is that you have fought, that you must find your war placing information, and you're going to be placed somewhere, and go to your either job or wherever you're going to be placed and stay there until you for information. And then there's the flyg alarm, which is a court signal. It's 1 minute, and that means to find your local bomb shelter, basement, or another safe place, somewhere you can protect yourself, whether it's in-house or outside house, away from windows. And then when it's over, you will hear a long 30-second alarm. I think this is an interesting book. Yes, it's scary. Hopefully we never have to use the book. but it's good to know. I mean, it's just, I think it's good to have this type of information and know what to do. Living and growing up in America, I mean, we don't expect this, but we had it happen with 9/11. I mean, when you grow up in a country that you think is invisible and can't be touched, and then something happens that kind of brings light to the situation, and then moving to Europe and knowing Europeans' history with war and everything like that. I mean, for me, I think it's interesting to learn this stuff, which, I mean, I don't know, I just find it interesting, so I figured I would spread this information to other people that live here that are immigrants that maybe don't understand or can't read the Swedish language or can, but they're not really sure. I just figured I'd help. So yes, it can be scary. We hope and pray that we never have to use any of this information, but if we do, we need to learn it and know it so we know what to do in this type of situation. So this brings us to our next page. This page talks about safe places to hide or protect yourself in case of in case the shit's hitting the fan, in case things are going down, what to do and where to hide. So it talks about, like, for example, if you're outside, you should get in a ditch. If you see things happening, get into a ditch if you can't get in the house. If you see a tunnel or a bridge or something, get underneath it. If you're in the house or in a place, go to a room without any windows if you have one. And it talks about, like, the less safe to safest. So like the bottom is like getting in the ditch and then getting under the tunnel and then getting in a room with no windows, then getting to the maybe like a garage, like an underground garage, like a parking garage or a basement or something. And the best place you can be is a bomb shelter, which they call it skyddsrum. That's the best place you can be in. And it says it protects yourself from air strikes. And like I said, the flygalarm, the flying alarm, and the Swedish radio P4 will be playing. So you can always tune into that if you're down there and you don't know what's going on up there. And that the basement or garage or underneath a tunnel, like a underground, what am I trying to say? A parking garage or something is really good for airstrikes, to be under and safe in those. And then it's better always to be inside the house than outside the house and in a room without any windows. If you're outside and you can't protect yourself with a tunnel or anything like that, get in a ditch. That's the best thing. And you want to be able to listen for that last alarm letting you know that you can leave whatever spot you're in and it's okay to go outside. And then it also talks about here the global safety or the risk of kärnvapen, which is like chemical or biological weapons or anything like that that come from the air or something. The bomb shelter is the best place for you to be, and it's best to stay in there for a few days to minimize your risk at for any kind of problem with that. And then here we have the next page. You see this? And this is how to prepare at home. What should I have in my house? What should I have extra? What should I have on standby in case anything happens? And it talks about you should have a checklist of things that you need to maybe, go to the grocery store. I get an extra can of beans this week, or I'll get an extra can or an extra box of mashed potatoes, or an extra pack of flour, or something that's easily used in in a crate or something like that. Like I would say canned goods is probably your best bet, or jarred goods, something like that. Have like an extra, like every time you go to the store, maybe buy an extra one. Or if you have extra money, maybe buy an extra one. It's really up to you on how you prepare. I can tell you right now, I am not prepared. We have eaten everything. There is nothing left. I made chili. I used all my beans. I don't have anything. So if you're not prepared, you're not the only one. So, but it's good to think about maybe starting to prepare and starting to just, starting for what? We don't know if anything's going to happen. But, it's always good to have extra things in the house because if nothing happens, you can use them. I had extra beans. I made chili. So, I can get extra cans of beans or tuna fish or whatever. They're good to have in the house. Even if you don't need them for this, you might need them for dinner one night. And that's what I did. Water. It talks about having like a bucket with a lid with extra water in it. Buy extra water bottles. And you want to keep your water cold and in dark places. And you want to make sure that it doesn't taste bad or smell bad. It says that it can hold up to a few years, and then you have to change it, of course. You want to make sure that the water is clean and that you cook it and that it comes to a roaring boil before you actually do anything with it if it's water that's been sitting around. And then it talks about like cold water in if you freeze a water bottle, it's good to have some frozen water bottles in the freezer so that if you lose power, they can just start to melt and then you'll have some water. But you have to be careful because they can break. Those plastic bottles, small little breaks in them. This is the next page. So it talks about warmth. You want to have extra outside clatter, extra thick socks, beanies, gloves, scarves, extra blankets, extra sleeping bags, extra candles, or maybe some extra oil or gasoline oil for lighting lamps, extra matches is good, a fire extinguisher, brand filth, stuff like that in case you need that. It also talks about that it's I'm sorry. And that make sure you select the uses, blow out the candles and everything like that, and turn off the gas before you go to bed because you can burn the place down or get carbon monoxide. So make sure you turn everything off if you're going to sleep. Talking about communication here, have extra batteries, have extra power banks if you're going to load your cell phone or something. Maybe an extra phone in the car. Have all your important information written on paper, and also solar cells and some. They have like my mom always had, because we come from Florida and they have hurricanes. There's like a wind-up radio, so you'd wind it up and then you could listen for like a little while and then you wind it up again. Those are really cool. And then it talks about here that, like I said before, that P4 radio will continue to play and continue to talk to like the last man standing. And then it talks about extra malt, like we said before. You want to have dry goods, conserved goods. Dry goods would be like cornflakes, oats, pasta, rice, couscous, mashed potatoes, powdered milk, tortillas, hard breads like keks or something, or like digestiva or Chex, some kind of hard bread, and then have salt and other spices. Conserved goods would be like tomatoes or vegetables or fruit or some kind of like soups or something that are ready to be opened and eaten. Protein-rich ones would be canned meats, canned fish, beans, and then cheese in a tube, which we have in Sweden. Those are good to have too because they don't have to be chilled. Fat would be like mayo, pesto, sun-dried tomatoes, and oil. You have your tapenade, which is like your olives, peanut butter, or other type of nut spread. Your quick energies, which would be like your fruit creme, marmalade, jam, jelly, chocolate, honey, or protein bars or dried fruits. For drinks, coffee, tea, chocolate, powdered chocolate milk, blueberry or rose hip soup, or your other fruit drinks or any kind of milk drink that maybe you don't have to have in the refrigerator. And then food to babies like oatmeal and gröt or havring and other types of barn or baby food in a jar. And then and then of course if you have like a garden with apples and stuff, take them. And then it talks about money, that it's good to have money in different types of currency, and that it's also good because if we don't have electricity, then you can't take out money through the ATM, and then you can't like exchange anything because I learned that when I was in Florida for the hurricane after Milton. We tried going different places, and a lot of places couldn't take credit card or debit card because they had no electricity. So it was cash only. And sometimes I didn't get all of my change, which was only like nickels and dimes, which was fine. I understand that they didn't have it. But it's important to have cash as well because, after when the electricity goes, you might not think about it, but so does your debit card and your credit card and everything else because that's what, yeah. So here is the next page. Okay. And this talks about your toilet. So this is an interesting one. I have went through this book before, so that's why I know this is an interesting one. And you never think about this, but it makes sense. You want to have 2 separate buckets to minimize the risk of smell. So you have one bucket you pee in and one bucket you poo in, and maybe a bucket you throw up in. You have 2 separate buckets for whatever you're doing. And that's that bucket and that's that bucket, and do not mix the 2. And have a lid to contain the smell maybe. You want to have extra toilet paper, extra hand sanitizer, extra wet wipes, extra diapers, tampons or pads, extra Band-Aids, extra garbage bags, extra compost bags, and a bucket with a lid to minimize that. And it just talks about like what I told you with the whole toilet thing, because if there's no electricity, then you can't flush the toilet. So get your buckets out. And hygiene. I work in healthcare. Hygiene. It's extremely important to minimize the risk of spreading or catching things. And then here it talks about other things to have at home, like a grill or a first aid kit is really good. Extra flashlights, a headlamp, extra batteries, extra matches, lighters, things like that. Extra medicine, extra Alvedon, paracetamol, which is like Tylenol in Swedish, Ipren, which is ibuprofen, um, you know, extra ointment in case you get cut. I would say gauze, bandages. I mean, since I work in healthcare, I have like a mini healthcare here. I have everything you can think of in case you get hurt. Um, and I'm always like prepared, in case anything happens in my household. I've always been that way, especially when you have children. I like to be prepared because here in Sweden, it's not like in America where I'm just going to run to Walmart or I'm just going to run to 7-Eleven. They're open 24/7. Here in Sweden, things close at 8 o'clock, and then if it's Saturday or Sunday the next day, it ain't open. You got to travel to find something that might be open. So it's really good to have extra things on hand here in Sweden because you ain't going out in the middle of the night and finding anything, let me tell you. Once it's 8 o'clock, everything's shut down. Everybody's night-night. And then, which was like a real shock when I first came here to Sweden. I'm like, what do you mean? I can't go there after 9? What do you mean? So that was like, I started to like having to prepare like, like when I'm getting down to a few Band-Aids, I pick up an extra box instead of waiting until I run out. Everything is, when it starts to run out, I go out and get extra because I don't want to be without if something happens. Like if my son wakes up sick in the middle of the night, oh, I was out of Alvedon, I was going to get that, I can go get it tonight. No, I can't. I have to wait till tomorrow after 10 when they open and listen to my son sick all night. So I don't do that. I get things when they're starting to run out because I do not want to run out in the middle of the night and then, somebody has to suffer because I was lazy or didn't think about it. So. And then it talks about good things to take with you in case you do have to leave the place that you're in. So like have like a rucksack, a backpack with extra things in them. Extra food, extra water for maybe a few days, and ID or your name or something written on a piece of paper. Your credit card, debit cards, and cash, medicine, and other like Band-Aids and gauze or whatever else you think you might need, tampons, pads, diapers. A radio with batteries or a solar cell, warm clothes, rain clothes, and a change of clothes. Like you can fit all of this in a backpack. I want to see it. Extra hygiene articles, an extra phone, extra charger, a map, a compass, and then extra important information with telephone numbers on in case you need to get in touch with somebody in the community or in the Sackerhead's safety thing. And then here's the next page. We're getting through this book. We're almost done, I think. So skyddsrum, which is like a bomb shelter. And this is, you see here, this is the symbol here for skyddsrum. So if you see that like in the basement and you're like, what is that symbol for? That's a skyddsrum. That's a bomb shelter. We have one at work. They're everywhere. It's like this big door with this big huge crank, like this, like an old safe door. And it's like concrete. I mean, it's cold in there too. So bring extra clothes if you ever have to go in there. And it's dark. Here it talks about the skyddsrum and basically to have extra clothes, like I said, and maybe look to be spending up to 48 hours in there. So you want to bring extra things in there so that you'll be comfortable while you're in there with you and your family or whoever you're in there with, yourself or your animal or whatever. And you always want to be aware of your nearest skyddsrum, your nearest bomb shelter, so you know exactly how to get there and where to get there when you need to get there. And whether it's in a school, a place of work, or in your apartment complex or something. Here's the next page. So here it talks about for psychological, that type of information. Those that are affected, hold on, I'm losing my place here. Hold on, I'm reading so that I can summarize this. Mm-hmm. 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 It's basically saying what I said before, that don't listen to misleading information or propaganda, because Sweden is not going to surrender. Sweden is going to be here till the end and till the last man is standing. Um, so don't buy into bullshit. I don't even know if I can say that on YouTube, but that's what I'm telling you. I might get knocked off for that. We'll see. Digital safety. It's important with like IT hacks and cyber hacks and stuff like that, that you have a long password with many different combinations of books, uppercase and lowercase letters, different types of symbols and things like that. Do not click on links or mail or open things that are weird. Do not install things directly that are can be unsafe, and just take caution, you know, and keep things on hard disks or USBs that you want to be able to take with you easy, because you can't take a whole computer, put that in your backpack. But if you have like a little digital stick or something like that, you know, make sure you save certain information to that stick so that in case you need to get out, you can take that with you. Where's the next page? Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. This talks about terrorists, or terrorizing weapons, or it's important instructions for you in case there's a, you know, in case there's a threat by air, or a somebody with a gun or something like that, or any type of threat. So it's to fly as far away as you can, or to get into a safe room. It says lock yourself in a room. Oh, flee. Run away as fast as you can if something's happening. Not fly. Run. Sorry, because flee, yeah. Run away as fast as you can. Get into a safe room, and have the telephone with the sound off. Call 112, which is 911, which is for... Sorry, my husband's playing Elden Ring, and that's what you hear. Ring at 2 if you know something's happening. You know, there's somebody with a gun or something like that. Think and follow these instructions. It says ring beholder if you need help. You can always use the internet as well. Follow the police, or the räddningstjänst, they like police or the firemen or anybody's instructions. Don't talk about the information to other people, because you know that old game telephone. I don't know if you guys have that here in Sweden. Like, I whisper something in somebody's ear, and then they whisper it to somebody else, and then they whisper it to somebody else. By the time it gets back to me, it's a completely different story. And then don't... What's it say here? Yeah. Anyways, I just got that. And then it also talks about here, if you see somebody hurt, and this can go if you see like a car accident or anything, but if you see somebody bleeding out, you want to stop the bleeding. So first thing first is ring 112. Ring 112, put the phone down so that you can help that person. And then you want to take, if you have a towel or a compress or a t-shirt or a scarf or whatever, you want to hold that on the bleeding wound with your hands straight like this. You want to press hard to stop the flow of blood. Like it said here, with like a t-shirt or a scarf or something similar. So you want to press as hard as you can on the wound to stop the bleeding. And then you want to stay like that until the ambulance get there. You can't, it's just the same thing with like CPR. You don't stop doing CPR when you feel like, oh, I'm too tired. You change off. But until the ambulance comes and they can put them up to a machine, or the ambulance comes and can take care of the leg or the arm or whatever, you do not stop what you're doing. It's tiresome, it's hard, but you're trying to save a life. And then here is the next page. This one talks about extreme weather. It's something in Florida. Extreme weather. The risk of natural accidents or something happening. There's fire in the forest or something. So you want to prepare yourself for that. Search for information in your community's website. Here we have msb.se, and you can go there and learn about different information, like for erosion, overswimming, flooding, and there where you live. Because I think it was last year they had a lot of rain, and I live in southern Sweden, and one of like the sjöns or something like that, sjön or lake or whatever, overswam, so it flooded, and the houses around there were like really, really affected, and it hadn't done that before, and it had come into the house and everything like that, and it was really bad. So you want to just like be able to get information on how to prepare for those types of situations. And you can do that by looking on the krisinformation.se, crisisinformation.se, or msb.se for how to handle and how to prepare for extreme weather in Sweden. And then you can also have an app for the krisinformation.se Sverigevario, or the SMHI Väder, which I have on my phone, and it just tells you, it's like a weather app, to give you more information on that as well. And then of course P4 radio, they tell you everything, so listen to them too. And then we talk about smittor, which is contagious. If there is a contagious disease or something that can spread really fast, what to do in that type of situation. Like with COVID, we had the munskydd, or we had the face mask on us all the time, and when we were outside, going to the grocery store, going to the doctor's office, when I was working, schools, we always had the munskydd, or the face mask on. So you want to look up that information, and so that you can find that information in your community's website, community website, to know how to protect yourself against smittor, contagious viruses and things. What is this? Next page. Oh, little kitten. Oh, söt. People that need extra help, som har behov av extra stöd. Those people that live in nursing homes or LSS, äldreboende, nursing homes, LSS, which is like daglig verksamhet också de har, which is like, homes for people that have special needs or have need special help around the clock. Or maybe you rely on hemtjänsten, which is a home health aid. This is for you. Maybe you have hard of hearing or hard of seeing. This is where you can find out that type of information. It says for you to talk to your family and friends and your neighbors that can assist you. Also, then bistandhandlagare, which is like a good man också, which is somebody that takes care of maybe your economy. They can also kind of try to figure out a plan on how to help you in case something happens and you need to know what to do or how you're going to be taken care of. You should have a crisis plan that has information on all the medicine you take and all of the hjälpmedel, which is like maybe a wheelchair or walker, rullstol, roulotter, those types of things that you need. Maybe things that you need to help you get around. You need to plan how you're going to be able to use those things in a bomb shelter and where you're going to be placing those things. If you use a telate or a text telephone or a build telephone, you need to have that important information on your telephone. If you have hard of hearing or you use like a hearing aid, you can get that important information mailed to you. VMA. You have problem seeing. It's really good to have like a skärmglass, magnifying glass, so that you can read that information. And then you har an leaderhund, assistant hund, therapy animal. You need to understand and know that how you're going to be having that animal in the skyddsroom with you or in the bomb shelter with you. If they need to go to the bathroom, you need to be able to fix that. Låsa den problem innan du kommer. And you can also find more information on msb.se eller krisinformation.se, crisisinformation.se or msb.se. And then you people that have I'm reading it directly. It says, "Do some harm. Who's you that have some home animals?" It's like the direct translation. It's so funny sometimes when I directly translate it. It just doesn't make sense. You have to like reword it. You have your own responsibility to take care of your animal and make sure that they are okay in a crisis or a war. And it's your responsibility to make sure that they have food, they have water, they have medicine, they have transportation to go here or there, and that you have a telephone number to a veterinarian, or and that you also have animal insurance and an ID number and paper on them as well if you're taking them places. And that you need to make sure also, if like put them in a carrier if you're going into like a garage or into a type of like bunker or something like that, so that you have them, you can have them safely with you. And then it also talks about people that have horses or other like cows and goats and stuff. You can go on the Jordbruksverk.se and find more information there for those people that have farm animals. And here is the last page. Here. And then it talks about if you're worried, how to take control or how to handle your being worried, because it's a scary thing, and I would be worried too. I'm bipolar and I worry enough for everybody. You want to speak to your friends and family and your neighbors about your feelings, which is hard for Swedish people to do. I understand that, but I feel like you really need a friend that you can confide in and when you need to, so that you don't feel alone. And that, your feelings do have meaning, and that you need to understand that, you mean something to somebody. You need to take care of your health, eat good food, get good sleep, go to the gym, stress less so that you feel better. Stay away from negative news. Find a good group for you that you're comfortable with so that you feel better. And also, um, don't forget to contact the clinics or anything if you're starting to feel that depressed or down, or that you feel like there's you feel like there's not worth anything anymore. You need to talk to somebody. And it's also important to talk to your children as well about Christ or a war, Christ or Krieg. It says children of different ages, they worry for a different way that adults do. It's important to be close to your children and to explain to your children what is happening. And also, it's important for you to listen and open up to them. Don't always cut them off. Let them talk. Let them explain. Let them tell you how they feel. Yeah, it's important, just to listen, just to shut up and listen. If you can't answer their question, just tell them in a nice way that you can't answer it, but I will find the answer for you. And then it's also that it's safe for your children to have a good focus, so that they don't get worried. And then here is that's my dog on the floor. Important phone numbers. So we have 112, which is emergency, which is like ambulance, firefighters, and police. 114, and this is how to contact the police. That if it's not an emergency, you can contact them through 11414. 11313 at 3 is a crisis or a olyckor. Fan. Mind is blank. An accident. Jesus. Allvarlig olycka kris. And then 1177 at that ho is for information or for advice. If you're sick or you've been hurt or something like that. In Sweden, we use it at 1177 a lot. In Sweden, if you have a question, you can go online and go to 1177 and they can hook you up to an internet and have you talk to somebody, which is really cool. Or you can book your doctor's appointments and get your order medicine and stuff like that through 1177. So it's a good website. And then there's more information here, which was msb.se, which is myndigheterna för samhällsskydd och beredskap. And then you have the first, I'm butchering these words, I'm very sorry. For military in Syria, we have förvarningsmakt.se, krisinformation.se. This is Småland information on kris och krig från svenska myndigheterna. And then lillo.krisinformation.se is for children and teenagers if they want to learn more about crisis or creed. And then it also talks about on the very back those special alarms again. And that is the book. We made it. We made it. We made it through the book together. Very cool. The best thing for you to do is to go on your community's website, kommunen. Whatever community you live in, whether it's Helsingborg, eller Malmö, or Stockholm, or wherever you live. Go on the community's website. You can find tons of information there, and you can always change it to your language as well. So if you don't want to read it in Swedish, you can change it to whatever language you want to and read it. So long that you read it and you understand it and you know what to do, it's good. Thank you very much for listening to me tonight. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. It's almost over. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Bye bye.